Joining us now on the Picks for Polls podcast, we've got Memphis Tigers tight end Anthony Landphere in the house. Check him out on Twitter at Anthony Landphere1. He's going to be talking to us about his college experience prep for the 2025 draft. Anthony, thanks so much for hopping on this thing. Thanks so much for bearing me. I was out of town over the weekend, so I didn't send this link over until about 3 hours before. But how are you doing? How's your Monday going so far?
My day is going great so far. I'm just happy to be on this show and just ready to get this going. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's get right into this whole thing, because doing research on you, you're a California guy. You are a JUCO product, which I always love rooting for JUCO products. But I got to ask you, how does a California guy like yourself end up in the Midwest playing football at the University of Memphis?
Yeah, so I've asked myself that question many times, but honestly, kind of goes back to my days in junior college where I'd say when you come out of high school and you're getting recruited, you typically get recruited more by schools that are kind of like in your area or in conferences that are in your area. But I feel like when you're going through JUCO, you kind of get recruited by schools from all over just based on the needs for certain positions. And so when I was going through junior college, I was getting hit up by schools from all over the country. And Memphis ended up just being the one that I clicked with the most and the place that I really wanted to go to the most. So I'm very happy I ended up here.
What about Memphis, makes it like the ideal landing spot for you?
I think for me, I'm a big relationships person. I build great relationships with the coaches here. At the time, I didn't know it, but my whole career here, I would have the same position coach, offensive coordinator and head coach, which is super uncommon in today's day and age of college football. So it was just great having that support system and really just having the same people there to help me build and grow into the person I am today.
Hey, that's definitely awesome. And, football is so relationship driven. See, Memphis to me is always sort of this like super interesting school when it comes to the draft, simply because like me covering the Bears, I can only recall, at least in my lifetime, the Bears took Anthony Miller back in 2018. He's obviously a Memphis guy. I know that there's a couple other Memphis products in the league, but the reason I appreciate the hell out of the Memphis Tigers program is because it definitely is becoming more and more of a hotbed for, NFL prospects. And obviously, guys like yourself that just view it as being a place for opportunity. But let's get into your daily routine. I've seen some of your stuff on social media, but where are you training right now? What's the intensity of the training you like that you're always going all out? And what's your daily routine like?
Yeah, so for me, it's been kind of crazy lately because being a junior college guy, I was told by that I could come back for another year because that new ruling passed. But as like the paperwork was getting done, I was enrolled here for a couple of weeks doing the winter program, and compliance ended up coming back and didn't know that I graduated high school in 2019, so that made me ineligible for that junior college like extra year. So I was kind of like, I was here working out with the team and stuff, thinking I was going to have another year left. But 2 weeks into it, I get that news, and then I immediately had to shift gears. So since then, I've been training here. I did everything for Pro Day here, training with my strength coaches here. And honestly, I'm going to be here up until the draft. So really, it's just I got to go in before the weightlift group. So I'm usually waking up at around 6:30 in the morning, 6 sometimes, and getting breakfast, going up there, working out when no one else is up there, and just getting in that work. But I'm super grateful for my coaches here who have just helped me through all of this, and have just been getting me right and have invested so much into me. So,
all right, you mentioned breakfast. I gotta ask you, what is the daily nutrition intake like? What are you eating every day? Are you allowed any cheat days at all, or is it kind of just like, this is the diet, this is what I'm sticking to?
So I'm not a big breakfast guy, but they do say it's the most important meal of the day. So I would usually do probably like 4 eggs and just a bowl of oatmeal, just something, with something not too heavy. And then really, I would just try to cut out sugar from my diet. That was just kind of like a discipline thing, something that I kind of wanted to just see for myself. And they say that when you're when you stop eating sugar, you're gonna crave it at first, but eventually you'll stop craving it. That's cap. I still crave it a lot, but I'm doing good. I'm staying off it, and I've just been trying to, increase my protein intake and all of that. So, yeah.
All right, you're probably gonna hate me for asking this question, but I gotta know. I mean, when you can have sugar,
Yeah.
what's like your go-to source of sugar?
Okay, I'd say I love donuts. There's this great donut shop in Memphis called Gibson's. Man, I love me some Gibson's donuts. So I'd say that's my like. If I could just go eat a bunch of sugar right now, like I would go straight there.
All right, I've been wanting to get out to like Memphis for a while now, so Gibson's is definitely on my list. I mean, do you have cheat days at all? And if you do have cheat days, like what's the go-to cheat day meal?
Ooh, this is gonna sound crazy, but like I love Panda Express. Like I'll go get some Panda Express and I'll be very happy. So that's probably like my number one like cheat meal.
Okay, just saying, I'm gonna agree with you there. Panda Express, the orange chicken, is probably the most underrated thing on the menu because I like me putting the crazy hours that I do and stuff with coaching and being up at the varsity level. There are definitely days where I'm like, Panda Express got me through today. So I love the orange chicken at Panda.
And it's cheap too. Like it's like for a plate, it's like 10, $11. Like it's not bad. So that's my go-to for sure.
Exactly, and like it fills you up. But getting back to the football side of things here, I mean, you play this position on the field that a lot of people assume your job is just to kind of, block on run plays or get out in the slot. And you being a guy that's like 6'5", 6'6", definitely could see you as a slot guy at the next level. But in terms of the mental side of the game, how do you prepare yourself every single week to kind of continue to go all out no matter what? Like football is the type of game where you're going to have good plays. Sometimes plays are not going to go your way. How do you rebound and just constantly keep going?
Yeah, honestly, I think you just hit it right on the head. Like, I think people expect you to be perfect, but once you play this game for a while, you realize that you're not always going to be perfect. Like, you're going to lose reps, you're going to win reps, you're going to have great reps. But it's really just, for me, I try to stay even keel. Like, it's an emotional roller coaster, but really just if you take it play by play and assignment by assignment, you'll do fine. So really just trying to regroup and just execute each play to the best of my ability because we do practice a lot. Like football is one of the only games where you practice way more than you ever play a game. Like at the college level, you're only guaranteed 12 games. So for me, I always made it very important to myself that I'm, mentally prepared for the game, whether that's knowing my plays, knowing my assignments, knowing their defense, watching film, all of that. So I say just being as ready and as trained as possible and then relying on that training in the middle of the game.
Do you have speaking of getting ready for the game, I mean, do you have a pre-game playlist that you maybe listen to on the bus ride to the stadium and in the locker room? Or are you just more so like, hey, game today, don't bother me at all. Like I want no distractions.
So I'm a nice guy. I love my teammates. I love being around people, but on game day, I'm pretty just in my zone. I don't really like talking too much. I just kind of like, listening to my music. I listen to a lot of Memphis rappers, so that's already playing on our speakers. Like, it's definitely a great environment, but I just love just kind of zoning in and just kind of cutting out all the noise and just, locking in.
Any non-Memphis rappers you listen to?
I listen to a lot of Chicago rappers too.
So give me some Chicago rappers. I mean, I'll tell you if I have those guys on my playlist.
Okay, so G Herbo.
Heard of him, okay.
Yeah, Lil Durk. Chief Keef.
Yes.
So I'd say those are probably the biggest ones.
That's a real good combination of some good music right there. I have to ask you this now, though, right? As a tight end, I mean, do you have a preferred offense that you would like to play in? Would you prefer to play in an offense where it's like it is a spread-heavy offense or an offense where they are running a zone scheme or a gap scheme?
Yeah, so I like to think that I'm versatile enough to where you could put me in any offense and I would flourish. I would want to, like, in an ideal world, I would love to actually be in an offense that is very run heavy. I love the block. I love zone schemes because that's what we ran a lot of. And just over my career, I learned that honestly, tight ends get very open if you have a strong run game. Because you can get open on like RPOs and boot and stuff like that. So I also love blocking. I love being a dynamic player. So really, just I want to be in an offense where they run the ball.
I mean, I can tell you right now, the Bears are going to be doing a hell of a lot of that. But you mentioned blocking. Do you prefer to block from the slot or with your hand in the dirt? Because to me, when you're blocking in the slot, and again, I coach tight ends as well.
Okay.
The big thing with blocking in the slot is sometimes you're taking on a cornerback, sometimes it's a down safety, sometimes it's even a linebacker if they've flexed the linebacker out there. Other times, when you're blocking with your hand in the dirt, you may be taking on a defensive end, but then as soon as you drive that guy with the offensive tackle far enough downfield, if it is a duo block, then you're releasing and taking on a linebacker or the first guy that you see. But where do you prefer to block from?
I'd say inline. I don't know. There's just something about having your hand in the dirt, like where you just feel like you're playing football, like you're just going. So honestly, I love playing inline, but then it's also a great feeling when you're blocking on the perimeter and the slot. And like, let's say you're running a screen or something, and your receiver catches it and just scores. Like that's an amazing feeling too. So I like both, but I'd say I'd prefer to be like inline, hand in the dirt.
So take us through that whole process. I mean, when you have your hand in the dirt, what is the communication with the offensive tackles like? Because the O-line has, their own calls. The O-line's got its pass pro terminology. And, as a tight end, because of the way that the offense is structured, it's more than likely that you kind of have to know what language the tackles are speaking.
Right. And that's honestly just part of the preparation. Like, and just knowing the whole offense. So that's what I love about being a tight end too. It's like you literally know the O-line calls, but you're also running a bunch of routes and understand the route concept. So it always keeps things interesting. But like when I'm in line, like at least when I was at Memphis, I always had a great relationship with my tackles because we were talking all the time, like, oh, we're going to combo this, or, oh, the linebacker is too tight, so I'll just take the DN and you go to the linebacker. So that's someone that you really have to have a good relationship with and trust because y'all are going to be working together a lot. And it's not always like a one size fits all type situation. Like sometimes y'all just have to play off each other. So there's definitely a lot of communication that goes into it.
What are some of your favorite routes to go ahead and run? I mean, do you prefer a lot of those routes down the seam or a lot of those crossing routes that kind of go away from that take over the middle of the field?
Yeah, I love running seams and like routes over the like middle of the field, like climbs and stuff. I love it when I get like a linebacker on me, like down the seam, and my quarterback will back shoulder it or throw it over the top. Like that's probably my favorite situation to be in.
Why is that your favorite situation to be in?
Because it just feels comfortable. Like I have a basketball background, so it honestly just feels like I'm boxing someone out, going up for a rebound, or it's just comfortable with me. I don't know. I like it. It's always like a big play. Like you can kind of talk smack. Like it's a good. I don't know. It's just a good environment. I don't know. I just enjoy that.
That definitely makes sense. I mean, what position did you play in basketball? Were you a forward or a guard?
Yeah, I was like a 3, so like a small forward. I kind of did a little bit of everything, but I'm definitely better at football than I am basketball.
That is, interesting because I'm a football/basketball guy myself. I was a forward as well, and I always kind of felt like the same way you described it, when I'd get to run down the seam, it was great because I'd be going at full speed. Mm-hmm. And obviously that safety, right, is kind of just sitting there waiting for me to bite first, when in reality, like, because the safety's reacted late, you get to go ahead and you get to make a play. But, getting into a lot of your production here, you had some really solid, seasons at Memphis, right? Like I believe it was this past season where you averaged about 12 yards a catch. Mm-hmm. What kind of allowed you to take that next step forward, increasing your production going into your last season?
just it was the product of a lot of hard work, really thoroughly like understanding defenses and coverages, like understanding where the sweet spots are going to be. And honestly, just being on the same page with my quarterback. I'm really good friends with him. That's my guy. And over the years, we developed a really deep relationship. So a lot of times I was his go-to guy. I like to think I have the best hands on the team. So he was always comfortable throwing the ball to me. So it's just kind of a mix of all of that and just, I had better like yards after contact this year. I broke more tackles and stuff. So that also helped with my averages. So, yeah.
So you mentioned having the best hands on the team. Do you compete with the receiver room to prove like, hey, I've got the best hands on the team, or is that something where all the receivers are like, nope, Anthony's got the best hands on the
team? I don't think anyone will just straight up be like, you know what, you got it, but they know deep down it's me.
Does it get competitive at practice then when you guys are on like the jugs machine and stuff, or is it just more so like, we're gonna like, prove it every single game?
I'd say both, but we definitely do talk to each other. I think that's the fun part about competition, like with your friends, is like y'all just get to talk smack to each other and just try to show out. So we would definitely be talking to each other.
I mean, hey, competition and trash talk are two things that are such norms in football. There's like competing against other people, which is always fun. But to me, I always found that competing against your own teammates just pushes and motivates you so much more. And speaking of motivation, what motivates you every single time the helmets and pads come on to just go out there and ball out every single day?
Ooh, that's a good question. I just said because I love the game and I really want to perform to the best of my abilities. I want to reach all of my potential and do it for the people who have invested in me over the years, like my parents, my sister, my coaches, my teammates. I try to do it for all those people who have been there along my journey, and then just go out there and enjoy the game and play because it doesn't last forever. So just enjoying each practice and game and just doing it to the best of my ability.
I mean, that is one of the best answers I've heard when asking that question. So, shifting focus here, we're a Bears podcast, we're a Bears media outlet, we're based here in Illinois. I mean, I have to ask you, Memphis, I'm pretty sure is like 7 to 8 hours from Chicago, but what do you know about the Bears franchise? What do you know about the city of Chicago? Have you ever been to the state of Illinois?
Yeah, so my mom was actually born and raised in Chicago. My whole mom's side of the family's out there. My sister lives there right now. I have it tattooed on me right here. So it's kind of like a second home to me. So when I saw you were from Chicago, I was like, okay, this is my guy right here. So I love Chicago.
So did your mom's side of the family grow up Bears fans or?
Yeah, Bears fans for sure. My aunt's a huge Bears fan.
So what do you know about the Bears franchise? I mean, because it kind of runs in the family now, so.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't say much because I grew up in California and was a Niners fan. But I don't know much. I really don't. But I like the Bears. I got love for the Bears.
Hey, that's awesome. It's sort of like George Kittle grew up in Iowa, but I guess it's like a Bears fan. And so I feel like you're sort of in that similar boat where you're like, yeah, I got some sort of ties to Chicago. And hey, I feel like, going back to the 80s and 90s, like the Bears and 49ers are sort of forever. Like that was obviously before, you and I were alive. But how'd you guys end up in California? I mean, what's that all about? Your parents like move out there? Did your jobs get shifted out there? What happened with that?
No, so my dad was born and raised in the Bay Area, which is where I'm from, which is like San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. But my mom moved out there for work and they ended up just meeting out there. And I guess she liked the California sun more than the cold Chicago winters. So she stayed out there. But growing up, I went back to Chicago all the time just because I have so much family out there.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. There's certainly days where I've lived in Illinois for 20-ish years now, And I'm just like, there's certainly days where I'm like, why do I still live here? Time to move out of this place. But
Yeah.
I guess it's the Bears that like keep me here because it's kind of my job and everything. But when these teams bring you into the building, when you talk to them at pro day, what are NFL teams getting in you as a football player, and then more importantly, as a person?
Yeah, so as a football player, I'd say just an every down tight end, someone who can line up in line and block and take the responsibilities of the blocking run game, and then someone who you can also spread out and put in the slot and who runs good routes, runs smooth routes. Honestly, someone who plays their butt off and honestly gives it their all. So um, I'm very confident in my football abilities and all that, and I think they're getting a great athlete, great player, and like you said, even a better person. I'm a huge team guy. I love my teammates. I love my coaches, and I feel like I don't know. I'm just grateful to play the game every day, or whenever I do get to play the game, I'm grateful. And yeah, I'm just a hard worker. Show up every day, don't really complain, and just do the work. And I love football, so I'm just a football guy.
You've definitely got this like humble, grateful, motivated nature to you. I mean, you showed us on camera a moment ago, and again, for our listeners that are kind of watching this thing on YouTube, right? I'm sure they're going to see the tattoo, but what's the inspiration behind the Chicago tattoo? Like, why'd you, being a Bay Area guy, decide to get a Chicago tattoo? Besides just the fact that there's ties to your family.
Honestly, really, a lot of it is just ties to my family. Like I said, I grew up going out there all the time. Like it's really like a second home to me. Next to it, I have like the street sign of where my grandfather lived out there. So when he passed away, I felt like that was a way to commemorate him. And just, yeah, I have a lot of love for Chicago. So I would love to end up there. But yeah, I love Chicago.
That is definitely awesome. I mean, hey, there's always, I feel like, a story behind every single tattoo that people end up having. But here's what I need to know. You grew up, I'm sure, playing and watching a lot of football. Do you have a favorite player that you maybe looked up to while you were growing up? Do you have a favorite player that you've always kind of modeled your game after, in the sense of, hey, I've always wanted to be like that guy. I've always wanted to be like that tight end specifically?
Yeah, so I love Jimmy Graham. I mean, I love Jimmy Graham and I love Tony Gonzalez. Those two, because I always relate to them because they were both basketball guys, but then they came into the league and went crazy. Tony Gonzalez played basketball and football at Cal, which is like 30 minutes away from where I'm from, and he just went crazy in the league. And then George Kittle, that's another guy. Like he's someone. He's a superstar, but he also gets down and dirty in the run game. Like he will block people, put them in the dirt. So that's something I really admire about him. And I love watching his game, watching his film. So I'd say those three. I think Jimmy Graham played for the Bears for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was with the Bears for a year. It was during that COVID year, which was
Okay.
honestly pretty cool to see and stuff. But like at that point, he was kind of at the tail end of his career. Like,
Yeah.
I remember watching Jimmy up close during that COVID year, and I'm like, yeah, it's not hard to see why this guy chose football over basketball, because he obviously made like a hell of a lot more money. And then I remember, the Tony Gonzalez days as well. And then George Kittle obviously continues to be one of the top at his position in the league. But, a couple more for you here. So, do you have a favorite memory or set of memories from your high school or college days on the football field that you are always going to look back at, always remember, and always sort of tell the story to other people about?
Yeah, I have one that just comes to mind, and that's when we went to Florida State this past year and we beat them there. It's unfortunate because it was early in the year, so we kind of thought they were going to be better than they ended up being. Because I think they only ended up winning like one or two games. But going into the game, we were playing at their stadium, so it was packed. It was a crazy environment. I ended up scoring that game and had a great game, and we ended up leaving with the dub. So that was a great day, but it was very hot. It was very humid, and but we made it. We got the dub, and that was a fun plane ride home. So that's honestly a memory I'm gonna keep forever because that was a great day.
I mean, yeah, you guys, I know, ended up winning that game. I think it was like 20-12 in front of a crowd that was like
Yeah.
56,000 or something. But, I think the other game that has to sort of be mentioned is when Memphis played Memphis played West Virginia at Toyota Stadium in the Frisco Bowl. Take us through the experience of playing in that bowl game and then beating West Virginia.
Yeah, so that's honestly another one memory that comes to mind. And what's crazy was like leading up to that game, like you know how at bowl games, like the teams will do like team events and stuff like that. So there were team events where like we would compete, like playing arcade games and stuff. So it was getting chippy just because like we were like competing against the West Virginia team, and then there were a couple scuffles leading up to it. Like so people were like, okay, like yeah, we need to lock in, we need to win because like everyone's competitive. So for us seniors, it was our last game wearing a Memphis uniform, and we're like, yeah, we need to go out on a dub. So it was a great game. We had like one of our best offensive games like all season, and we walked away with the win. And that was a great way to end my career with Memphis. So it was a great time for sure.
Do you have a favorite play from that game?
Favorite play. So my teammate, Demir Blakehamsey, is gonna hate me, but he ran a little go route, caught the ball, and he's breaking it. He's running his butt off. He's running fast. But he gets to like the 5-yard line, and the DB just swipes at his shoelaces, and he ends up tripping on the one and gets down at the one. But we ended up scoring, and that was like the play that really put the game away. So that was just a great feeling to see my brother like catch that. Should have scored a touchdown, but just having a big play like that for us to kind of put the game away and get that win. So yeah.
I mean, hey, that is fun. And I remember watching that game when you were playing Florida State. I mean, you had a really good game that day because I think that was a game where you had like 5 or 6 receptions for like 60 to 70 yards and 1 touchdown. So that was, I can see why that is a memorable game for you as well. But before we get you out of here, where can people kind of follow you in the world of social media and just keep up with your work?
Yeah, so like you said earlier, on Twitter, Anthony Landphere 1. And then on Instagram, just Anthony Landphere. Yeah, and that's it. I don't have TikTok or anything like that. So just those two. But yeah.
I mean, hey, those are the 2 main ones that I am typically on as well. But this has been awesome. Keep in touch. If there's anything I can ever do for you, don't hesitate to reach out. Really hoping that you do end up in Chicago, because that honestly would be super awesome. I mean, and it would just be so cool to see you wearing blue and orange. But like I said, you're welcome back on the show at any time. Super excited to see where your journey takes you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.